Hello everyone, welcome to a new video which I finally get to publish. Thank you so much for your patience and understanding. In this episode, we're gonna make the Mina Messenger Bag. This is a lovely messenger bag or satchel. It comes with 2 pleated front pockets, magnetic snap closures, 2 slip pockets, and a zipper pocket. The strap is of course adjustable. The finished measurements are about 13.5 inch by 10.5 inch by 3 3/4 inch deep. You will need canvas fabric for the main exterior or other kind of heavier fabric such as denim or home decor or heavier linen, etc. And for the accent fabric and the lining fabric, you will need cotton quilting fabric. This time we're gonna work with pattern pieces, so you will need access to home printer in order to print out the templates. You can get the free pattern for personal use to make this large version. It is available at YoanSewingStudio.com. This time, I also give you an option to get the premium pattern, which includes the full written instructions in English, plus the diagrams, additional pattern to make the smaller version. The measurements for the smaller version are about 10 inch by 7.5 inch by 2 inch. And for this one, we're gonna use the 4-layer fabric as the main fabric. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and let's jump straight into it. Download and print out all the pattern pieces. There should be in total of 4 pages. First, you wanna print out page 1 and then test one of the square here, just to make sure that your printer is set up properly. Now it's time to assemble the patterns. So you wanna line up these ovals matching the alphabet label. So you can either fold back or cut one of the page's margin. And once you've done that, you wanna slide the other page behind it, aligning the oval and all the other lines. Make sure there is no overlapping here, and then tape them together. Once you've done that, you want to find the cutting line of the back or flap panel, this one right here, and then cut. Once you've got all the pattern pieces together, you want to cut your fabric pieces based on what indicated in the pattern. Make sure that the fabric is placed on fold and align the fold line with the folding arrow there. If there is a notch on the pattern, you want to make sure to clip that notch. Also, you want to snip along the edges of the center fold, about 1/4 inch or so. And you want to do this to all the pattern pieces. And don't forget to label each panel to avoid any confusion. Alright, once you've got all the fabrics cut, it's time to cut the stabilizer. So just like when cutting the panel, this will also need to be cut on fold. And in total, you will need 4 stabilizers. 1 for the flap, 1 for the back panel, 2 for the sides, and 1 for the bottom panel. Fuse all the stabilizers to the wrong side of the interior panels according to the manufacturer's instructions. And of course, you want to center the position. Next, we're going to work on the front exterior pocket panel. So you should have 1 panel for the exterior fabric and 1 panel for the interior fabric. Now you want to take the pocket pattern again and lay that on 1/2 portion of the exterior pocket, aligning the edges and the notch, just like shown here. Use some pins or pattern weights to hold this in place. To transfer the fold lines, you want to use a tracing wheel or hair marker to create the temporary crease mark. Run the tracing wheel over the pleat line. Put enough pressure to it, but not too much that you can damage the fabric underneath. So you probably want to do a little bit of testing beforehand. Once you've done that, you want to take a disappearing fabric marker, whichever one that you have, and then draw the pleat lines following the crease mark to make the lines more obvious and easy to spot later. Alright, when you're done, you want to take the pattern again and work the same for the other half of the pocket. So let's align all the edges and matching the notch, just like that. Now you simply want to run the previous tracing wheel markings. We're going to name the first line from the center fold as line A, and then the line after that will be line B, and the third line from the center fold will be line C, and the last one will be line D. And the same goes for the opposite side. I forgot to mention this earlier, but don't forget to fuse the wrong side of the exterior pocket with some fusible woven interfacing. Next, you want to install the female magnetic snap to the exterior pocket. Simply transfer the marking on the pattern. Poke a hole right on the center of the dot there. So align the pattern matching the edges and the notch, and then mark the dot with your fabric marker. Now you want to repeat the same to the opposite side. Once you've done that, install the female magnetic snaps on those marks according to the manufacturer's instructions. Before you install the magnetic snap closure, add an extra layer of interfacing on the wrong side just to reinforce it. Lay the pocket exterior with the pocket interior right sides together. Match the notches and all the edges. Pin to secure them in place and then stitch along the top edges with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Once you've done sewing, you want to press the seams open and then fold wrong sides together. Press the top edges again and then top stitch. Next, we're going to start folding and pressing to create the pleats for the pocket. As you can see, there are 2 pairs of lines on each side. Fold line C towards line D, just like that. So line C should be sitting on top of line D at this point. Now take your iron and press. Just be mindful with the magnetic snap closure there. Use a couple of clips to hold on to the pleats and to train the fabric for now. Now we're going to fold line B towards line A, just like that. The line B should be sitting on top of the line A at this point. And then take your iron and press this real good. Again, we're going to use a couple of clips to hold on to the pleats. Now we're going to fold and press the other half of the pocket in the same manner. Alright, your pocket panel should look just like this at this point. Now lay the pocket panel on the right side of the front exterior panel, just like that. At this point, we just want to make sure that this front pocket is aligned with the front exterior since we're going to sew them together later. If there is any necessary adjustment that you need to do, this is the time to do it. Once everything is nice and aligned, base stitch the bottom edges along the pleats with about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance to hold them in place. To divide the pocket into 2, you want to first draw a line right on the center of the pocket with disappearing fabric marker, and then draw a line about 1/4 of an inch away from the center line on both sides. So these 2 1/4 of an inch lines will be the seam lines to divide the pocket. Lay the pocket panel on the right side of the front exterior panel, matching the notches and all the edges. Clip to secure them in place and then stitch along the edges starting from the side and then go to the bottom. When you get to the first 1/4 of an inch line, you want to go up and then pivot and follow the top stitching line to the second 1/4 of an inch line and then go down, continue sewing to the bottom and then go to the side. And that's it guys, the pleated pocket is done. Now I like to keep some clips on the top edges of the pleat for now until it's time to assemble the bag, just to train the fabric. Take the back exterior and the flap exterior panel, lay them right sides together and then sew with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Once you've done that, you want to press the seams open and then top stitch. Now we're gonna work on the gusset, so take the bottom panel and one of the side panel, lay them right sides together, just like that, and then sew with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Once you've done that, press the seams open, and then sew the second side panel to the opposite side. Next, we're gonna work on the ring tabs. Cut 2 little rectangles, fold and press the long sides in a fourth to make a 1 inch wide strip, and then stitch the long side edges with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. For this project, I'm gonna use these 2 rectangular rings. You may also use D-rings or O-rings, whichever ones that you prefer. Now you want to attach the fabric strip to the ring and then stitch as close as you can to the ring. I did miss this step while filming, so I did it later right before I attached the adjustable strap. Now position the ring tab on the top edges of the side gusset, on the right side of course, right on the center, aligning the raw edges. Clip to secure this for now and then stitch with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. For the adjustable strap, you want to cut a strip of fabric from the canvas fabric about 60 inches long. Depending on the width of your fabric, you may need to join 2 strips together. As usual, we're going to fold and press the fabric in a fourth lengthwise. But first, of course, you want to fold the short side edges towards the wrong side about 1/2 an inch to hide the raw edges. Fold the strip in half lengthwise and then press. and then fold the edges towards the center fold, and then press, and then fold one more time and press. Let's stitch this all around, starting from the open edges. Now set this aside. We're gonna attach this later after we assemble the back. Now we're gonna assemble the back exterior. So lay the front exterior right side up, take the gusset panel, and lay that right side down just like that. Okay, first you want to match the center point of the bottom panel with the center point of the bottom front exterior, and then clip. And then you want to match the side notches of the front exterior with the side gusset, just like that. And you want to do the same to the opposite side. Continue pinning all around. Now at the bottom corners here, you want to baste this with hand stitching. So here I'm showing you how I hand baste when I was attaching the back exterior panel. So you just want to do running stitches. If the gusset couldn't go all the way to the corner, it's totally fine. You may find that the gusset is a tad smaller than the main panel, and that to be expected. If you want, you can snip a little bit along the edges of the gusset panel so that it will be able to lay flat. Again, this doesn't have to be super perfect. I forgot to baste the corners when I attached this front exterior, and it was a little bit of a struggle to get to the corners, although I managed to do it. Once you've sewn the front exterior with the gusset together, you can flip this to the right side just to see how it looks. And once you're happy with it, you can trim off the corners. Be careful not to cut through the stitches. Next, we're going to attach the back exterior panel. And just like before, we're going to first match the center point of the bottom and then match the notches. And then continue pinning and baste the corners with hand stitching. Then sew all around with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. As you can see here, it is much easier for me to go through the corners since it's been based with hand stitching. So the back exterior should look just like this. Now let's set this aside and we're gonna work on the back interior. Let's start by working on the slip pocket. So you wanna take the pocket panels, lay them right sides together, and then sew the top and the bottom with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Press the seams open and then turn right sides together. Press this again, then top stitch the top edges. Lay the pocket panel on the right side of the back interior panel with the wrong side facing down, about an inch down from the top edges. Just like that. Clip the securities in place and then sew the sides and the bottom of the pocket with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Also sew a straight line right on the center to divide the pocket into 2 slots. When you sew the center part of the pocket, as you get to the top, you want to backstitch about 3/8 of an inch down and then stitch on an angle about 45 degrees, just like shown here, and then backstitch and repeat the same to the opposite side. Install the male magnetic snap closures on the right side of the flap interior. So you want to do this pretty much the same way as we did with the female magnetic snaps. Transfer the markings and then install the male magnetic snaps according to the manufacturer's instructions. Alright, with the right side spacing, you want to sew the flap interior with the back interior panels. Once you've done that, you want to press the seams open and then top stitch. Once you've done that, cut the notches on the pocket panel. Simply follow the existing notches from the back panel. Next, we're going to work on the zipper pocket. So prepare the zipper pocket panel. Fold and press the fabric in half lengthwise to find the center point. Draw the zipper template on the wrong side of the pocket panel, about 1.5 inch down from the top edges. Just like shown on the screen right now, lay the pocket panel on the right side of the front interior panel with the wrong side facing up, about 1.5 inch down from the top edges. Pin to secure this in place and then sew along the outline of the zipper template. Once you've done that, cut along the center line and the corner triangles. Be careful not to cut through the stitches. Turn the pocket panel to the wrong side and then press around the template to make it nice and neat. We're going to use a regular nylon coil all-purpose zipper, at least 8 inches long. Stitch around the start of the zipper to keep the zipper tape closed. Apply some basting tape along the edges of the zipper tape and then peel the top layer off. Position the zipper template on top of the zipper. You want to center it. Finger press to make sure that the basting tape is sticking onto the fabric, and then sew all around to secure the zipper in place. Fold the bottom edges of the pocket panel towards the top, folding it in half, pin to secure it in place, and then sew the sides and the top edges. Use the same 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. We're gonna assemble the bottom and the side panels pretty much the same way as we did the exterior panel. However, this time you want to use 1/2 inch seam allowance. We use larger seam allowance here so that the bottom part of the bag interior will be a slight smaller, thus it will sit snugly inside the bag. Assemble the bag interior the same way as we did the bag exterior. Use the same 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. However, this time you want to leave an opening at the bottom to turn the bag inside out later. With the bag exterior facing wrong side out and the bag interior facing right side out, insert the bag interior into the bag exterior. So the right side of the bag interior and the bag exterior should be facing each other at this point. Match the center point of the front exterior and the interior, and then clip. Match the front side seams and then clip. Now you want to match the back side seams, just like that. So both of the exterior and the interior seams should be facing towards the gusset, and then clip. Once you've matched all the center points and the side seams, you want to continue clipping all around. Once everything is secured, you want to sew from the front to the side, go up to the flap, back to the side, and to the front. We're going to use the same 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Start sewing somewhere from the front. As you get to the side, you want to stitch all the way down to the seam line of the back side seams. So let's continue stitching, and then I'm going to stop right on the seam right there, and then pivot, and then continue stitching towards the flap. Alright guys, as you are approaching the side seams, you want to continue stitching up to 3/8 of an inch down from the back side seam line, and then continue stitching to the side. Alright, so now I'm going to sew up to the seam line there, go down about 3/8 of an inch, and then pivot, continue stitching the side, and then back to the front. Once you've done that, trim off the seam allowances, about half of it. As you get to the corner here, be careful not to cut through the stitches. Turn the bag right side out through the opening hole. Poke the corners, make them nice and neat. And then top stitch all around. Once you've done top stitching, it's time to sew the opening hole at the bottom. So fold the raw edges towards the wrong side, about 3/8 of an inch, and then clip and then stitch along the edges to close the opening. Once you've done that, put the lining back inside, and then you can go to your ironing board and give your bag a good pressing. Now we're gonna attach the adjustable strap. So you wanna prepare the strap and the strap slider. Hold the slider right side up and then feed one of the end of the strap from the wrong side towards the right side and back to the wrong side. Have about 1.5 inch clearance, and then sew a rectangle to secure this in place. Set the slider aside with the edges of the strap facing up, and then feed the other end of the strap to the ring from the inside towards the outside, just like that. Now take the strap slider, hold that right side up with the edges of the strap facing down, and then feed the end of the strap from the wrong side towards the right side and then back to the wrong side, just like shown here, making sure that there is no twist, and then pull the strap through. Now feed the end of the strap to the opposite ring from the outside towards the inside. Again, you want to have about 1.5 inch clearance. As you can see here, I've already punched a couple of holes for my rivets. I actually did a mistake earlier, so I had to remove the rivets. Now I have to reinstall it again, so just don't mind me. So at this point, you can either stitch a rectangle to secure the strap, or you can install a couple of rivets like what I do here. So it's totally up to you. And that's it, guys. The Mina Messenger bag is done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this tutorial. And until next time, goodbye.